Dorsey. I'm a candidate for sheriff of the city of Richmond. I'm a citizen of the United States of America and a citizen of the state of Virginia. I am protected by the guarantees of the laws of the government of the United States and the state of Virginia, but I am not bound by any unlawful statutes. I just wanted to talk to people about some incidents that are occurring as a result of my political activity. I'm being targeted by multiple state agencies and have been victim of crimes, including assault, illegal detention, unlawful search, unlawful detention, and unlawful assault. And during these times, I'm often and if not always protesting and attesting that I'm guaranteed certain rights and that they're being violated. I guess first we can connect to the reason we're actually out here. We came out here to make a statement about the fraudulent elections being carried out in this city by the Richmond Registrar's Office and the Virginia State Board of Elections. The Registrar's Office is in this building. Board of Elections is over there. Where the state government offices are. I've been being monitored unlawfully and unlawfully detained, unlawfully harassed by agents of the Virginia State government, including the Virginia State Capitol Police. One man in particular, named Ed Longish, who has threatened me on multiple occasions, been involved in illegal detentions, and is also engaged in being away from the Capitol property and attempting to interrogate me on city sidewalk. This is important regarding elections because I filed a formal complaint with Don Palmer of the State Board of Elections for his complicity in his position in looking into voter fraud in the state of Virginia. So I called to file a complaint, didn't receive a call back, asked for Don Palmer again after I was assured that he was going to call. Got on the phone with a man named Chris Piper. Chris Piper started becoming very aggressive with me and saying that he did not want his staff harassed and that Mr. Palmer would not talk to me. And I stated my case, which is I'm calling regarding a formal complaint filed with this office, and I want to verify that it has been received. The phone was then hung up. I called back 2 more times, then left a message saying I do not appreciate the way that the State Board of Elections was treating people who were filing legitimate complaints to the proper authorities. And then I received a phone call, a threatening phone call from a state capitol police officer named Ed Longish. He had evidently received a call from Chris Piper. I told him I was being harassed. I then immediately filed a complaint with the head of the state capitol police, one of the heads, Howard, a Mr. Howard. And I have since been in contact and had multiple FOIA requests not complied with. I have email evidence of these that I will send to connect with this video. They're not complying with this. If people are complaining about the fraudulent elections, the result they get is a threatening phone call from an armed man, an armed agent of the state of Virginia, who has been targeting myself and other individuals who, for their political activity at the Virginia State Capitol. And his superior officers are all complicit. I've demanded information, any and all recordings, any and all narratives, and I have heard nothing back but a bunch of stonewalling. Now, that will bring me to my latest assault and illegal detention from agencies of the Virginia State Government, and that would be agencies of the State ABC Board. This happened in, let's see the date, June of 2012, June 14th, 2012 at Pocahontas State Park. I had purchased a ticket for a concert. The band performing was the Wailers, associated with Bob Marley. So I went with a friend, and before the concert, I went down a trail. Upon standing in the trail and enjoying my time in nature, I was then approached by a man who I know at this point. His name, Thomas Pond, or I think it's Thomas Pond. It's Thomas, and then the last name is spelled P-O-N-D. Although he has never identified himself, I've found out through information coming from the Virginia State ABC themselves, and also the Chesterfield Commonwealth Attorney's Office, that was the man who originally approached me. He was wearing a flat-brimmed baseball cap, as many people who sell drugs in parking lots of such concerts are, and wearing a Bob Marley t-shirt. He approached me and demanded that I pull out my identification and I give him marijuana. I don't have any reason to give him either in any event. However, he did not identify himself, and I had no reason to show him anything. I looked at him, and he demanded that those products again. I had only my wallet, flyers for an Occupy Richmond event protesting the Federal Reserve Bank and Dominion Power, and bags to pick up dog food for my dog. I laughed in his face and told him, "You can't tell me anything." I turned around to see between 7 and 10 plainclothes, undercover actors approaching me. One with his hand on his gun, flashing badges that were not easily identified to me. I was then tackled, then immediately put in handcuffs in a stressed position near a 30-foot ravine that was leading from a trail in a state park. I began yelling that I'm being unlawfully detained, I was unlawfully assaulted, and my Fourth Amendment rights are being violated. I began getting taunted by one of the unnamed officers, saying things like, "Shut up, you're not on YouTube, no one can hear you, and we are the police." These people did nothing but violate the law. I continued to yell, "I will not have anyone, especially an enemy of the law and a coward like these men, tell me what to do." I was dragged from the trail, and while being dragged in my flip-flops, I was told by one of the unnamed actors of the state of Virginia to, quote, "walk like a man." I responded that I'm not the one with his hands all over you. I was then put in a stressed position. That's when a man I know as Dave began filming the event. I was put in a stress position and calling out my name. My name is Chris Dorsey. I'm being unlawfully detained. My Fourth Amendment rights are being violated, and I have been assaulted. I then began being filmed by what seems to be at this point, and what seems to be identified by Chris Goodman as an agent, an undercover agent of the Virginia State ABC Board. An undercover officer of the Virginia ABC Board was filming this. And I was stating my case. My name is Chris Dorsey. I have been illegally detained, unlawfully assaulted, unlawfully detained, and my Fourth Amendment rights are being violated. That's when at a later point, the original officer, Thomas P-O-N-D, the undercover agent wearing a Bob Marley t-shirt and a flat-brimmed baseball cap, came up to me. I again stated, I'm being unlawfully detained, I was unlawfully assaulted, my Fourth Amendment rights are being violated. What is your name? He said, what is your name? And then began saying things like, Mr. Darden, Mr. Abdullah, Mr. Jones. And I said, what are you talking about? At that point, he picked me up. I say, I am not complying. This search is unlawful. He searched, found nothing, although he started examining my dog poop bags. I had, that I was sneaking into the concert, flyers for a political event, an Occupy Richmond event protesting Dominion power in the Federal Reserve Bank, in my shirt. He examined my political material and then handed it back to me. I was then taken out of handcuffs. I was told that after being told, originally I was told I was arrested, not one time, but twice. As soon as I was tackled, rewinding back to the original part, as soon as I was tackled, I was told I was under arrest. While I was being dragged from the trail to the parking lot at Pocahontas State Park by alleged actors of the Virginia State ABC Board, of the Virginia government, again I was told I was under arrest. A man came over and then told me, a different unidentified man came over, took me out of my unlawful restraints and told me that I was being held for a criminal investigation. After I was told I was under arrest twice, I was never read any rights or told any reason why I was under arrest. I was then informed that they think it would be a good idea if I immediately left the premises. I told them that I disagreed with that. And immediately after getting out of my unlawful restraints, I walked over to several of these actors, these Virginia state government paid undercover actor narcs, that they start producing their names and identifications. They refused. I left and immediately reported the crime to the Virginia State Park Police. Then I went to the concert promoter and told him that I know about his cooperation with the Virginia State Police and bringing in these people to Bob Marley concerts while allowing and cooperating with people who attempt to unlawfully arrest people for smoking pot by the liquor police. I will tell you one thing. I was assaulted. I was illegally, unlawfully searched and detained against my will. There have been multiple FOIA requests, including this very extensive FOIA request filed by a member of the Bar Association. a so-called practicing lawyer. They are straightforward requests that are involving a criminal investigation and an investigation that would involve a lawsuit that would entail lots of money, and it would engage a lot of Virginia state government actors in its nets. I, for one, am tired of this lawlessness on behalf of the so-called law enforcement. These people are such cowards that they will gang assault someone, violate their rights, have it pointed out to them, scoff at the people who are pointing that out, and then cover up their crimes by using any and all means necessary. What kind of country do we live in? What kind of people are we? These people are like the worst scumbags on the planet. They just do whatever they want, and they expect no accountability. No, sir. I have guaranteed rights. I have guaranteed authority. I am a sovereign, and I do not bow to these criminals who are enemies of the law, but put on costumes, whether that be a Bob Marley t-shirt or a captain's badge, that pretend like they're the good guys. You're the enemies of the people. You're the enemies of the government. You're the enemies of the law and the Constitution. You're cowards. I'm calling you out. I'm going to take your jobs. The people are going to lock you up. No more. That's it.